It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is Love Train, one of Chris's favorite tunes. How come you picked that one, Chris?
It's like the best tune on Elation, man. It's a great tune. It's like one of those tunes where our guest actually really stretches out on guitar and shows that real blues flavor that he has. So it's probably my favorite tune on the new record.
Well, I guess the guest you're speaking of is founding member, guitarist of the band Great White, and that would be our good friend Mark Kendall. Welcome back to the Classic Metal Show there, Mark.
Good to be back. That's ironic that you picked that song because we just hired a radio promo person that actually worked with us way back in the Capitol days, and that was one of her picks that she sent to the radio.
Sweet.
So that's going to start our radio promo thing starting on the 28th. It got kind of started late. We were busy doing other stuff, and but we're glad that we want to get the music to the people the best we can, and that I think that's a pretty good pick because it has all the elements that kind of the classic sound that we go for.
Right. Well, Mark, since you brought up an interesting topic there that Chris and I often talk about here on the Classic Metal Show, about the state of radio today, what are the chances of getting exposure through the traditional radio means?
Well, it's a little bit tough, because we're not quite the oldies band, but we're kind of classic rock. I don't know. It's pretty much, I was just speaking to this radio promo person named Jody Glissman, and she was telling me that, she's working the Kiss record, and she just did, like Def Leppard and a few other bands, and a lot of it is secondary markets because the big stations just want to play your old hits. It's just kind of, like Tom Petty hour type deal. And the secondary markets will play your new music. So it's a little bit tough, but, whatever we have to do, our new MTV is YouTube, and, so we're just hoping to get our music to, so people can hear it. I don't even really care that much if they buy. I really just want people to hear the music. That's been my thing forever,
Sure. Well, Mark, obviously, man, with Elation coming out, there's so many changes, obviously Terry in and Jack out, and, a new vibe and a lot of legal and all that stuff. I guess a good place to start is with the record, though. How, it's such a different animal, especially for the fans that are so used to Jack being, the voice of Great White, and it does sound different. For you, yeah. Does it feel like Great White to you, or does it feel like a new band with new energy, or where exactly do you put this, and how do you feel as an artist, with Great White at this point?
Well, the energy in the band is really good. Nothing's really changed except for the singer, and the core of the band is still here. Everybody that's written the songs, obviously the voice is different. I really like the way his voice sounds with my guitar, though. It brings more of the blues influence out of the band, and I kind of like that. But yeah, the energy in the studio was just like really electric. Terry, as a vocalist, is amazing. His energy in general is he vibrates a little bit. The frequency's a little higher than the average bear, if you will. I can be tuning and the guy hears a song, so he brings a lot of that type of energy. And, we went in the studio prepared pretty much except for like lyrics and stuff, and ended up just writing brand new music except for 2 tunes. Everything was completely eclipsed. We sit around with acoustic guitars, and the energy's really good. Everybody's happy, and, we just kind of went with the moment and just let ourselves be free. And, so that was way different than the way we've done it in the past. In the past, the way we wrote music was, I would come up with a musical idea, or Michael would come up with a musical idea. We'd get together on the idea, and then I would get together with Jack, show him the melody lines, and he would insert words. this time I would, you know, if I wrote a song, Terry would go home and come back with a finished song, you know, or we would work it out in the studio. So it's fun, you know, and Terry had been filling in for Jack for 2 years, and, you know, we're waiting for Jack to return, you know. We were told he's getting better and this and that, and so when it came time to where he couldn't come back, it was just the obvious choice was Terry, because we were getting along with him so well, and really like the way the live shows are going. So,
absolutely, man.
You know, we just want to be happy. You know, it's nice to not have all the drama and the emergency rooms and the falling down and the opiate abuse and everything else that we're dealing with. You know, just to have a healthy band, everybody's on the same page, and we're all, you know, just, you know, it's easy now. I mean, it's just about writing music, playing live, and enjoying ourselves, you know, and we really couldn't do that with an unhealthy person that was struggling, you know.
Right. Well, let's talk about that just a little, Mark, because obviously, I mean, certainly it's no secret. Even Jack talks about, you know, the drug use and how that was a problem and whatnot. But at the same time, everybody, you know, anybody that knows the industry and especially the 80s metal scene, I mean, it's no secret that you guys all, Great White as a unit, was one of the hardest, if not the hardest, partying band out there. You know, doesn't it almost seem a little bit hypocritical to say, okay, well, you're still partying, so you can't be in the band?
Well, I think partying is one thing, but, you know, major drug abuse where it's destroying your body is a different thing. It's on a different level. And, you know, I work with a lot of struggling addicts and alcoholics, and the reason most of them are successful is because they want to be well, you know, and I don't think we were really getting that with Jack. It's really frustrating. I put my heart and soul into him, trying to get him well. I was this pain medication guy. I've tried everything. You know, it's difficult, man. I wish he would really, really just flush his body of all the stuff he does to it, and just get well. I mean, you know, that's all I can say about that.
Well, I can tell, you know, you're still deeply hurt by all of the things that have happened, Mark. I can hear it in your voice. You know, you're very measured in your tone and the way that you choose your words. And, you know, obviously this has been going on since late last year. So if anybody hasn't already read all the drama in the press already, you know, I don't want to bring that to this show because we've seen and heard it, and there's really nothing left to be said as far as I'm concerned. But something that I asked Jack, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you think this breach could ever be repaired?
Well, I mean, you know, he's suing us. I mean, it's hard to even answer that right now. I really can't envision. I mean, if he was truly well, I mean, I'm not sure. It's just, it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult to answer, you know, when we're in the middle of everything we are.
Right. Well, you know, I just kind of think back to, like, the drama in Rat, one of your contemporaries, how, you know, the infighting between Stephen Pearcy and the rest of the band, you know, ended up in lawsuits and whatnot, but yet they came back and made probably one of the best records they've made in 20 years, you know, with their last record. And I understand, you know, they're in the midst of making a new record, even though some of the drama still remains, but they're still working together. And, you know, we know Stephen Pearcy very well. He's been a guest on the show numerous times, and much like yourself and much like Jack, he's just very open and honest about things. But I'm just going to say this from a fan standpoint and not from a journalist or DJ standpoint. I hate to see this kind of stuff happen, especially since the history between you personally and Jack growing up together as teenagers, and now you're in your 50s and now there's a breach. That just doesn't make a lot of sense as a fan goes, you know.
It's not really a breach, and it's not a breach, and it's not an argument. It's a person that's gone down the worst drug abuse highway that I've ever witnessed in my life. You know, this isn't like, oh, we got in a fight and we're just over each other. You know, he just self-destructed, and you know, this is nothing that anybody wanted to see happen. You know, we've waited, we've tried. You know, everybody's fought. You know, to try to get him well. And I mean, I've been at his bedside in rehabs. I mean, day after day, going, "You can do it." I've cried in family meetings. You know, just saying, "I don't think you have another bender in you, buddy. You know, come on, you can do it. You know, one day at a time." The whole thing. You know, so it's totally not easy to watch or be a witness to. I don't know what to say. You know, I've seen some of the YouTube things that he's out playing, and I know what he's capable of, and I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing somebody who's, you know, struggling. He's not singing well. He looks like he can barely stand up. You know, it's not the Jack Russell I've known. You know, the guy flying around the stage and taking command like he did in the past.
Sure.
And it's just addiction. It's ugly.
Yep, agreed. Well, let's shift gears and talk about the record and get out of the ugliness. How's that sound?
Okay. All right.
Obviously, man, with Elation, at least from a fan standpoint, more than probably any other great White record, at least to me, it just seems like there's a lot more moodiness to the record. I mean, you've got songs like we played Love Train, and maybe even something like Heart of a Man are very bluesy, which is definitely from your background, but maybe a little more true blues than anything Great White's done in the past, where it was more like of a rocked up thing with a blues element, if that makes any sense. But at the same time, you've got stuff like Something for You, to the opening track, which, you know, just a straight up rocker. And, you know, the record does seem to have, it's more of a roller coaster than a lot of the past Great White stuff. Was that because you guys just were experimenting and learning each other in the studio, or is that just sort of how the songs came out, or what?
Well, you know, I mean, I pretty much write. I didn't change any of the way I always write. It might sound more bluesy because of the singer, but I haven't all of a sudden, you know, tried to write any certain way or take any new directions. I mean, as far as the songwriting wise, you know, if you look at the past two records, there's a lot more energy to this album. There's more up-tempo stuff. I mean, you know, the ballads are less sappy. Well, there is one song that's kind of in the Foreigner type thing, and Foreigner-ish, if you will. We always seem to come up with something like that on just about every record, but apart from that, you know, we just had fun. We just kind of let loose, and the opening track was just something we came up with in like 5 minutes in the studio, and we just were cracking up and having fun with it, you know.
Sure.
And I kind of came up with that little country lick, and, you know, it was a kind of basic, but it's really fun to play live, and people respond to it, and, you know, it's got good energy, so.
Right. Well, how has it been, you know, since you brought up the road, how has it been out there on the road? Do you find that people are receptive immediately to it, or do you almost have people, and I know Terry's been in the band a little while now, so it's not like it's anything brand new, but do you still find a lot of people that are like, that like watch half the set with like a, let me see how this guy is before they get into it?
No, not at all. He just nails it. I mean, we can play anything we want. He has all his range. He can sing anything in the catalog, like pretty much nailed. And we've had no problems live, and the crowds are just crazy great, and we're playing really big shows, and everything's going good. Our live show has great energy. We're getting feedback from the promoters. They're writing emails saying how professional we are and all this stuff. So as far as the live show, it's just it couldn't be better, and we bring the crowd right into the show. Terry has tons of energy, gets the crowd just totally riled, and it's fun.
Excellent there, Mark. Well, we've had Terry on the show numerous times over the years. He's been a really cool guy to us. And I've been a XYZ fan for, years, and I've had him on the show when when he released his last XYZ record, Letter to God, and he had a solo record out, and you guys had kind of shared band members there at one point with Sean McNabb, who's with with Dokken now. Well,
I heard he was played with Terry before in his band. I had to go on the internet just to kind of really study what Terry's been doing, because I don't have any of the XYZ music or anything. So I really checked out what they did, and one thing I really noticed is where he shines is any kind of blues type riff stuff, man. He just nailed it. It reminds me of kind of Glenn Hughes or something,
Right. Well, you also have some commonality. Yeah, you also have some commonality, as in Don Dokken produced you guys' first record, and he produced XYZ's first record. So
yes, yeah. He told me about that.
Sure.
That he did the one with Inside Out or whatever.
Right.
That was their very first record, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, yeah. He told me that Dokken produced it and everything, and we do have that in common.
Yep. So there.
I met Dokken years ago. I mean, it was literally, I want to say, 1975.
Yeah.
I was in a band, and we played with Dokken, and he was in a band called Airborne.
Right.
And I was in a band called Zizix. And we did the show in L.A., and he had Bobby Blotzer playing drums, and I believe Tom Crucier, who's Juan's brother, he's a bass player also, was in the band. And it was just like a trio, with Don playing guitar and Greg Leon playing guitar. Completely different, Don playing guitar and everything. It was a lot different than what it ended up being, but...
Well, the rock world is very incestuous. But well, going back, Mark, when did you meet Terry for the first time? Because I know when I've read some interviews where Jack is talking about, quote unquote, this guy is taking my place, and I don't know who this guy is, and I don't know this guy's music. I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
Well, I'll tell you, as far as this guy thing. He even called Terry more than once. I think he called him at least twice to thank him for filling in and said he's doing a great job. So I don't know why he would say that. But anyways, what happened was Jack wasn't able to. We were going to cancel a show, and what I heard was Terry was kind of a good go-to guy when you need someone to fill in on the fly. And he was actually playing the M3 Festival on the same day, and he changed his set time so he could come sit in with us and play this show in Iowa or something. And we didn't want to cancel and upset the promoter at the last minute, so he had to learn songs on the airplane and all this stuff, and he just came and just killed it. I could not believe he did as well as he did in such short notice.
And you looked over at him as he was singing, you go, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah, I was blown away. And he starts jamming, in songs that are set that we've never, jammed in. He would all of a sudden, he'd just go go into this like jam, and I'm just going, okay, this is cool, you know, I'll go with this deal here, which made it kind of fun, you know, because you can get kind of, when you're playing like, you know, your set or whatever night after night, it can get old. I like to throw jams and stuff in, and they might be different any given night, but to have it come random like that is even better because you're not really expecting it. So he's pulling stuff like this off, like when he's just like filling in for, you know, one show or whatever. So yeah, he has a really good positive attitude. He's you know, he's the Zen master. He's a martial arts guy. You know, he's really humanitarian. You know, he's just he's kind of a good spirit or whatever, and he's a really good person to hang out with.
Right. Well, I was leading back to my original question is when did you first come across Terry Ilous? Because being that all you guys, you know, hung out in the L.A. area back in the day, I'm surprised you guys didn't cross paths earlier.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised too. I remember that there was a time when he was looking for me for some reason. In fact, I'd never even brought this up to him, but I heard he had some project and he was interested in me playing on it. And we were super busy touring, so I wasn't able to do it, but I'll have to ask him about that. But I remember that I could have crossed his path then. So I have heard of him before, but I just didn't know him at all. I've never like met him in person or anything.
Sure.
I don't know what we were doing when they made that record. I suppose we were out because we were on long tours back, you know, in the late '80s. We were always on the road. We'd leave, you know, for tons of time. I mean, I remember one time I left my house. I was 31, and when I returned home, I was 33, and that was one single tour.
Wow.
So it was crazy, you know, how much we were on the road, but. Yeah, it is ironic that I never ran into him, but I did know that song, the one big song they had, Inside Out. It was a pretty sweet song.
Sure. So do you guys try to mix any of that into the set, or have you even talked about that, or is that just not what you want to do?
I probably just don't want to do that, you know. It's we don't like to really play other people's music, you know. Except for, you know, if we're going to play some old jam from, you know, way back when or whatever. But, no, we kind of don't want to do that, probably. I couldn't envision myself out there playing Inside Out or whatever. I mean, you know. But not that it's not great music, but I'd rather keep that, you know. I don't think he wants to do that either, so.
Right. That's fair. Well, let me ask you, Mark, because it sounds, outsider looking in, it definitely sounds like both in the studio and on the stage, you guys are having a fun time, and there's a lot of energy again. Is there a lot of creative energy as well? I mean, are you already working on new songs?
Tons of creative energy. Yeah, tons of creative energy. You know, like I said, this guy vibrates like, you know, frequencies out of control. He's always writing all the time. I mean, you know, it's like you have to tell him, stop writing. You know, we're going to make a record next year. Don't worry about it. But, yeah, so it's just all fun. We're just all enjoying ourselves, you know. It's just such a relief just to enjoy ourselves, you know. I mean, we're not getting any younger. I mean, why, you know, live your life in drama and then die or whatever? We'd rather just have fun, and that's what we're doing now. We're just having fun, and it was really fun to make that record, man. I can't wait until until the next one, because I know it's just going to get better. I really have a feel for his voice, and I think we could come up with something insane. You know, I mean, I'm very happy with what we just did, but I know we could even do better. We can always get better.
Do you think that you know, the record has ended up in the ears of the people that would care more or less? I mean, obviously the hardcores are going to hear it, but do you think that those fans that, you know, are, I don't want to say are just the hits guys, but, you know, the guys that bought Can't Get There From Here and records like that, do you think those fans have been reached adequately to where they know that there's a new record from you guys out there?
Yeah, I absolutely do think we've reached them. In fact, I have some friends that have been my hardcore critics, and I mean, they don't blow smoke, and they've told me that past things I've done have just choke, So they never, patronize me, and I gave it to a few people, and they've all come back with positive response. I mean, unbelievable. I'm really excited about this radio promo thing because I think we're going to reach a lot of people that way. And it kind of reminded me years ago when Donny Osmond just was he was so pigeonholed into the Donny and Marie thing, and he went solo. And I think I heard that some radio station, like a KC kind of thing, like it was some huge New York station or whatever, just played a song by the guy and didn't say who he was, and it went totally huge. And like tons of stations picked it up, and by the time they found out it was Donny Osmond, they're like, it was too late. They already loved the song. I mean, not saying we would ever do that, but it's like, I'm just hoping that people dig the music,
Yeah, I agree there, Mark. But I remember that promo. That was way back in 1989, I believe, when Donny released the song, and they just marketed it as an unknown artist. And,
right, and it was kind of like an R&B. It was a killer. I mean, really good track, right?
Yeah, I believe it was called. It had something to do with something about the waterfall or something. I remember seeing the MTV video of it too. It was huge.
I'm glad you remember that, because I remember that like so well that they didn't want to say it was Donny Osmond because of his squeaky clean image, and he had this kind of manly thing going on. But by the time that people found it out, it was too late. They already loved the song so much. Right, what I mean?
Right, and that's when MTV still had that. MTV was still playing videos then, and that kind of helped them out quite a bit as well.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with all that. I guess is it because they make more money just with the reality thing and all that?
Well, the record label. You should know this, Mark. The record label put the money up to make the videos, but there's no record.
Oh, sure.
There's no record deals anymore, so nobody has any money.
Right. Right. I totally get that. Yep. In fact, I did a project, and I was kind of working with Tom Wally from Interscope on it, and I remember calling down there, and when they'd answer the phone, they'd say like Interscope, Universal. They'd name like 5 labels. It's like they're all in the same building now. They're all like kind of like airlines. They're all merged into one or something.
Or radio stations, for that matter.
Yeah, a lot of internet.
Yep. All right, Mark. Well, you're always a welcome guest here on the Classic Metal Show. I'm sorry it's been so long since we've been in touch, but you're welcome back anytime you want to promote something for free.
Sweet. Okay.
We won't even charge you like your publicist.
I'll keep that in mind.
We won't even charge you.
Awesome,
But anyway, good luck with the new record and the touring and hopefully the ugliness behind the scenes will calm down for you, and you guys can just sort of maybe work out your differences somewhere down the road. But to end this interview on an upbeat thought here, one of my first recollections of Great White was when I was living in the L.A. area between 85 and 91. Great White had a food drive down in L.A. If you brought canned food, you could get into the concert for free. Do you
totally remember that?
Yep. So I actually participated in that. So
oh, right on.
I believe that was 1988, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the food drive thing, I totally remember that, all the cans of food and stuff.
Right. So just keeping the positive thoughts alive for you.
Yeah, I love to get involved with all that charity work and stuff. It's awesome, man.
Right. All right, Mark. Well, is there anything else you'd like to let the fans know, where they can find Great White on the web and what the immediate plans are?
The best way to find out what we're up to and, updates, tour dates, whatever, is to go to greatwhiterocks.com, because it has a lot of our tour dates, like all our European stuff, and, we got a lot going on. So if you want to try to catch us somewhere, hopefully we get close enough to you to where you can come down and check it out. But yeah, that's the best place is greatwhiterocks.com.
Excellent.
And you can always come on our Facebooks and we'll be your friends.
That almost sounded derogatory, Mark, the way you said that. You can come on our Facebook.
Facebook thing, you know.
Okay. All right, Mark. Well, if there isn't anything else, we were going to let you pick a tune and take us out of this interview and tell us a story about it.
On the new album?
Whatever you'd like.
Okay. Let's do Feeling So Much Better. I really like that song. I had to really come with something on the fly because the record company wanted to hear what we sound like with the new singer and everything, and we kind of had to come with a couple songs. And Michael already had a song, and I had a song. We ended up doing those two songs and making a quick demo, like in a couple hours or whatever. So that's kind of cool if you play that one.
Excellent.
Feeling So Much Better.
All right, excellent. All right, Mark, as always, we appreciate you taking the time. Go pick up the new release from Great White, Elation, and this is what, Mark?
It's called Feeling So Much Better.
Exclusively here
on your classic metal show.